Prologue: How a lard salesman, an NFL agent, and a YouTube star explain Likeonomics. Just over 10 years ago, I was part of a pitch that I knew we would win. I was leading one of the hottest and fastest-growing digital production teams in Australia. We had built a glowing reputation in our market, won tons of creative awards, and boasted a long list of top-notch references. More importantly, our creative concept and strategy for the potential client we were about to meet was perfect, and we knew it. We had such an original approach, in fact, that we knew none of our competitors would even come close. By the pitch day, our team had rehearsed for 2 days straight, and we were supremely confident. It showed. The meeting went almost perfectly. Everyone knew their part, and the client asked the right questions. As we walked out, we allowed ourselves to enjoy a momentary feeling of triumph. We were ready to take a victory call the next day and accept the client's business. It was just a matter of time. Like clockwork, we got the call the very next day as expected. Only the outcome wasn't what we expected. We had lost. In the weeks afterward, our team went back over every step. What did we get wrong? How could we have lost? We simply couldn't understand. It was one of those rare situations where if we had the chance to go in and pitch again, we wouldn't have done anything differently. We longed to know the amazing idea that we lost against. Unfortunately, we never got a good answer. It was the first time in my career when I learned the frustrating lesson that sometimes you lose and never really get to know why. A year later, I was at an industry conference and happened to see that same client we had pitched to. I asked her how they were doing and exchanged some polite conversation. With nothing to lose, I then asked her the question really on my mind. Why didn't we win? She looked at me and told me something I have never forgotten. You guys had great ideas, and they did too, she admitted. Honestly, we chose them because we just liked their team better. We wanted to work with them. It didn't seem fair. It still doesn't. But now I understand. Since that time, I have had countless pieces of business won or lost over this single metric of team chemistry, but relatively few clients with the personal insight and ability to understand or admit how critical this piece was to their decision. The fact is, the significance of this goes far beyond just the world of business. People trust and choose to believe people they like. We all choose our friends and teammates for everything from work to hobbies based on likability. Relationships, not logic, power almost all of our decisions. In order to be more believable and more trusted, you need to be more likable. That is the simple idea behind this book. To see why this idea matters so much, let's begin the journey by going backward in history to 1912 and a dusty classroom in Harlem, New York, where one of the most enduring philosophies of modern business was first born, even though no one there that night knew it. The Lard Salesman. It was 6 p.m. in a dimly lit classroom at the YMCA Harlem Evening School in early 1912, and the instructor was nervous. His topic that night was public speaking, and even though more than half the seats were empty, his heart still raced. At 24 years old, he had already dropped out of college and failed as a young actor. His only modest success in his short career so far had been rising to become the #1 salesman of the highest quality tins of lard, yes, lard, in western South Dakota. That night he had walked to the classroom from his small, roach-filled apartment in a part of New York City that easily lived up to its nickname of Hell's Kitchen. He certainly didn't look too well, as his biographers would later write. You could tell he had come upon hard times, as though one warm bowl of soup might have been enough to restore an appearance of health.